Hi everyone, I am Dr. Suresh. Today I will be discussing the concept the looping in C. What is coding? The coding is not just about learning languages, but it is about logic, problem solving, and creativity. The loops in C. Basically, what are loops? The loops are used to repeat the same code n number of times. When you want to repeat the set of instructions or set of actions for infinite number of times or finite number of times or until some condition is true, definitely we can take the help of the loops. The loop consists of two parts, a body of a loop and a control statement. In today's session, we'll be discussing the types of loops and when to use what loops and also few programs. Basically, to begin with, the loop types. Basically, the loops are divided into two categories. One is going to be the entry control loop, one more is going to be exit control loop. What is entry control loop? In the beginning of the loop, we are going to test for the condition. So it is called pre-test. Here, a condition is checked before executing the body of a loop. There are two types of loops. There are two loops here. One is going to be the while loop and one more is going to be the for. The second category is going to be exit control loop, also going to be called as post-tested loop. Here a condition is checked after executing the body of a loop, that is the do while. To begin with, we'll study the for loop. What is for loop? The for loop has the three statements. The first statement is the variable, the control variable. The second statement is going to be the terminating condition or condition when the loop should get terminated. And third statement is going to be the incremental statement. And these three statements are separated by the semicolon. And of course, the for is keyword. Let us see the codes. The first code, we want to print this statement quality speaks for 3 times. For that, we are taking the help of for loop, and there is an index variable or control variable. Initially, we are initializing to 1, and how many times we are going to repeat 3 times. And after each iteration is over, before going to next iteration, we are incrementing the value of I by 1. So when you run this program, you are going to get output quality speaks for 3 times. Moving for the next code, the same for loop, but inside the for loop I have the two actions to perform, that is first printf statement, the second printf statement. And when you run the program, what happens, you are going to get that these two statements will be printed 3 times. Also, one point you observe here, the main function by default always we give void because that is the beginning of the execution of the program. And also the void indicates the function doesn't return any value, and instead of void even you can write int. If you're writing int as a return type, then the return type, the value, the 0 must be returned. Fine. Now third program, the same program I modified. I have removed the opening braces and closing braces. What is the output of this now? Now see, inside a for loop you have only one action to perform, and this second action is independent of the for loop. When you run this program, you are going to get the output, the quality speaks will be printed 3 times because this action belongs to for loop and this action is independent of the for loop, and this will be printed separately. So writing parentheses in a for loop or while loop or do while loop is very important. Fine. Now our objective is to print the sum of first 10 natural numbers. How to write a code? Initially, we are initializing sum equal to 0, and then the for loop is repeating for 10 times. The initial value is 1, 1 to 10, and each time we are computing the summation value, sum equal to sum plus I. When the for loop terminates, the sum of all first 10 numbers will be ready, and that we are going to print. Like this, you can use the for loop for the repeating the task again and again when you know how many times you want to repeat. Some more programs we are going to discuss, and here look at this program segment. My objective is to print odd numbers between 1 to 50. Yes, the for loop is varying from 1 to 50. Since odd numbers start from 1, next 3, 5, 7, so we are incrementing by 2. By default, we are incrementing by 1, but now we are incrementing by 2. The output is going to be 1, 3, 5, 7, like that till 50. The same program we modified here. Look at this program. My objective is to print even numbers between 50 to 1. So the initial value is 50, and then we are decrementing the value of I by 2. First time I is 50. When you go for next iteration, I value becomes 48, 46, and so on. Now, the for loop we understood. Let us move to one more loop, the while loop. The while loop is also called as the top tested loop or pre-tested loop. Here the loop condition is tested before each iteration to decide whether to continue or terminate the loop. How while loop looks? The syntactically it looks like this. While you are going to have an expression or condition, and this expression is evaluated. If this expression returns true, the statement or statements will be executed. If, and then you go for the next iteration. If this expression, how long you are repeating this while loop until this expression evaluates to false. When the condition evaluates to false, the while loop terminates. The flowchart also we are mentioning. In the flowchart, the expression is there, the expression will be evaluated, and then you're going to process the statement or statement repeatedly you are performing until this expression is false. Fine. Now, if you compare the for loop and while loop, the major difference is in for loop, we have three statements: initialization, expression, and updation. And initialization we do as a part of for loop. But when it comes to while loop, the initialization we are doing the prior to while loop. And then you can perform one action or multiple actions. Yes, you can perform one action or multiple action. One more change here is in the for statement itself we have an increment statement or update statement that is incrementing the index variable, but here inside the while loop we are writing update statement, and then the rest of the operations are same. So it's left to you whether to use for loop or while loop. But one point, remember, what and all the operations you can do using for, you can do using while, but vice versa is not possible. So that is the reason always we love to use while loop over for loop. Fine. At the same time, we are going to use two more statements. One is break statement, one more is continue statement. What is break? Used inside loops or switch statement to bring the program control out of the loop. Suppose this is your for loop, and you see you want to repeat this for loop for n number of times or quite number of times, and until this expression is true. But inside a for loop you are going to give a condition. If this condition is true, you want to break. What do you mean by break? The rest of the statements you are going to skip, and rest of the iterations you are going to skip, and then we want to come out of the for loop. So you can use the break statement. Similarly, so even you can use the break statement inside while loop also. But what is important here is the break statement is used inside loops. It may be for loop or while loop or do while loop or switch statement to bring the program control out of the loop. That is the purpose of the break statement. We have one more statement, continue statement. What is continue? Continue is it terminates the current iteration and resumes the control to the next iteration of the loop and skips any code in between. See here, inside a for loop I am giving condition. If this condition is true, I am going to give continue. What is continue? The rest of the actions or statements are ignored or skipped, and control goes back for the next iteration. And similarly, you can make use of this continue statement inside while loop also. Yes, the break and continue are very useful when you are writing program, especially using loops. Let us see the few examples how to use break and how to use continue. See, in this program, my objective is to print the natural numbers between 1 to 10, but whenever you encounter 6, I am given a condition break. What happens here? Till 5, the for loop prints I equal to 1, you are going to print I equal to 2, 3, 4, 5. The minute I becomes 6, you are given a statement break. What break does? The control comes out of the for loop. That means the for loop terminates, and then by the time the program also terminates, and then what is the output? You are going to get output is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is where the role of break comes into picture. Similarly, we want to use continue. What is here? I want to print the natural numbers between 1 to 10 except the numbers which are divisible by 3. For that, I am going to take the help of modulus operator. What is modulus operator? The modulus operator gives reminder. So using remainder, we'll come to know, see whether the number is divisible by 3 or not. First time I is 1, so 1 by 3 is 1, so we are going to print 1. Next I is 2, we are going to print 2. Next time 3, 3 more 3 is going to be 0. When it says 0, the condition is true. When its condition is true, continue. What do you mean by continue? Here this statement is, the printing statement is ignored and controls goes back for the next iteration. That means the 3 is not printed. Next 4 and 5 will be printed, 6 will not be printed, 6 more 3 is 0, again you go back. Like this the process is repeated. What is important is the continue statement is going to skip the rest of the statements in a loop and then it moves for the next iteration. So you can, as a programmer, you can take a decision when to use break and when to use continue. Let us see some more code. Look at this program. In this program, I am taking the help of continue and also I am taking the help of OR operation. What is how I see here? The for loop is repeating from 1 to 20 and if any number is divisible from 2 or 3, then I don't want to print, I want to continue. Here I want to print the natural numbers between 1 to 20. If the number is divisible by 2 or 3, I don't want to print. Yes. Then you can go for OR operation. Similarly, here I want to print the natural numbers between 1 to 20. If the number is divisible by 2 and the number is divisible by 3, I don't want to print, I want to continue. See here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 we have printed, but 6 we are not printing because 6 mod 2 is 0 and then 6 mod 3 is 0. Both the conditions are true only with respect to 6. So we are not going to print 6, we continue. So similarly, so the process is repeated. But what is important is, here I am taking the help of AND operation, here I am taking the using the OR operator. But continue is going to, I am using because to skip the printing operation. If the condition is true, I don't want to print, I want to continue the operation. Fine. Now we'll move ahead for one more loop, the do while loop. What is do while loop? It is a special loop. It is also going to be called as post test loop. So it is, here the loop condition is tested after each iteration to decide whether to continue or terminate the loop. See, do, we have set of statements and after processing this statement we are going to check for the condition. So you can have one action or you can have multiple action. The flowchart reflects how it works. Let us see the few programs. The few programs here, the first program where we are printing the quality speaks and best wishes the 3 times. We tried using for loop, the same thing we can try using the while loop also. Now similarly we can try using the do while. So it's possible to use the for loop or while loop or do while loop. Next, suppose our objective is to print sum, product and average of first 10 natural numbers. How to do it? First let us try using for loop. So whenever we want to do summation, we are initializing to 0. When we want to do product, we are initializing to 1 and also we are declaring another variable average. And for loop is repeating 10 times. Initially sum was 0 and product was 1 and each time in each iteration we are computing sum also, we are computing product also. Once for loop terminates, the sum is was stored in the sum variable, product is stored in the product variable and then we are for computing average and then we are printing. So here for loop is repeating 10 times. The same logic we can implement using the while loop also. In the while loop what we are doing again, see the only difference is here I we are initializing inside a for loop, but here while in advance we are initializing I equal to 1 and while loop is repeating and also updation of the I we are doing here and remaining computation remains same and initialization remains same. This is where you can find the difference between the for loop and while loop. The computation remains same and then once the while loop terminates we are going to print average. So in this format either you can use for loop or you can use while loop. Moving ahead, suppose our objective is to find factorial of a given number. How to find factorial of a given number? So where the user is asking, if from the user we are accepting the value of n. So using scanf function we are accepting the value of n. The for loop we are repeating how many times, n number of times, and then initially we initialized the value of f equal to 1 and each time inside a for loop we are computing the factorial and then finally when for loop terminates we are going to print factorial of a given number. This is simple for loop we are doing and we know how many times we want to repeat, so the for loop we are using it. The same program even we can modify using the while loop. If we have initialized I equal to 1 and then while I is less than equal to n, f equal to f into I and I plus plus. The while loop keeps on repeating how long till I less than equal to n. The minute condition is false, we come out and then we are going to print factorial. This program also we can write using the do while. Again we are accepting the value of n, we are initializing I, we are initializing f and then do while. See the condition. First time we are without any condition we are processing the post tested. After processing the statements we are checking for the condition. If this condition is true, again we are repeating and the process keeps on repeating until the condition is false. But point you must observe, I not given n less than equal to I given less than. And finally the factorial of a given number is printed. In this fashion, factorial of a given number we can try using for loop, we can try using the while loop, and also we can try using the do while loop. The pre-test loop is also possible, post-test loop is also possible. Let us see some more program. Suppose my objective is to check whether the given number is palindrome or not. Okay, what is palindrome? The given number after reversing, if the original number and the reverse number both are same, then you can say the number is palindrome. Okay, now we are accepting the value of n, and then the given number we are initializing to one local variable r, and also to we are doing computation. Here, since we don't know how long we want to repeat, here the while loop is the best, the looping structure here. How long we are repeating the while loop? Until n is not equal to 0. N is your given number, and then see using modulus we are computing, so we are taking out the digit by digit, the digit we are storing in d, and each time we are computing the sum. The initial sum was 0, sum equal to sum into 10 plus d, the d we are storing, and then after 1, before going for next iteration, the n I am dividing by 10. Suppose your given number is 123, so first time the d is going to be 3, and then s, initial s was 0, 0 into 10, 0 plus d is going to be 3, s is going to be 3, and now n is going to be n by 10, 123 by 10 is going to be 12. Now again the process repeats. Is 12 not equal to 0? Yes. Again we are going to find d. Now d is going to be 2, and now yes we are going to compute. The previous s was, see, 3 into 10, 30, 30 plus 2, 32, and then n is going to be 12 by 10 is going to be 1. Again repeat, and again you find d, and then again see s is going to be now 321, and n is going to be 1 by 10 is going to be 0. Again while loop repeats, and now while loop terminates. Why while loop terminates? Because see we are going, this loop is going to work until n is not equal to 0, but now n is 0, the while loop terminates. When the while loop terminates, you got the s is going to be 321, given input is 123. Now we are going to check, is s equal to r? So s and r is not same, then we say the given number is if s and r is same, then we say given number is palindrome. If s and r is not same, we are going to say given number is not palindrome. In this fashion we can check whether given number is palindrome or not using while loop. Now we'll take one more program to check whether given number is prime or not. What is prime? You see, we know the prime numbers. If the number is divisible by itself, and if the number is divisible by 1 and is not divisible by any other number, then you can say the given number is prime. So to check that, we're accepting the given number, and then it should divisible by 1 and it should divisible by itself. It should not divisible by any other number. So we are taking the help of for loop. Here for loop is the best suited, and then initially I will be 2, and then n mod, again we are going to take the help of modulus operator. If n mod 2 is 0, then we are going to set the flag equal to 1, and then initially flag was 0, so that means that it is divisible. If the remainder is 0, that means divisible is happening, then flag equal to 1. The minute flag equal to 1, we don't want to repeat, go for the next iteration, we are going to give break. Break means it comes out of the for loop, and then see when you come out of the flag, see, for loop, you are going to check if flag equal to 0, the given number is prime number, otherwise not a prime number. Yes, here what we do, we go on repeating the for loop. How long? Until, so you could have given n, but we are given n by 2 because to minimize number of computation, and like this the for loop is going to repeat. And finally, when the for loop comes out, we are going to take the help of flag. Initially flag was 0. If flag is 0, the given number is prime number. If flag is 1, the given number is not a prime number. So beautifully we are going to check whether the given number is prime or not. So using simple the for loop, and also with the help of break statement, and also we are using, you will see, the flag variable. Let us take one more program. Our objective is to check whether given, see, our objective is to print the prime Fibonacci numbers. What is Fibonacci numbers? So the Fibonacci numbers, this Fibonacci sequence is going to be like this. The Fibonacci, the first Fibonacci number is 0, the second Fibonacci number is 1, the third Fibonacci number is going to be the summation of previous two. See, 0 plus 1 is going to give 1, 1 plus 1 is going to give us 2, and then 1 plus 2 is going to give us 3, and 2 plus 3 gives 5, and so on. So for that we are going to write a program. So as usual, we are declaring a variable. The first Fibonacci number I am storing in a variable I, the second Fibonacci number I am storing in a variable j, and the subsequent Fibonacci numbers I am generating using k. So enter a positive integer. See, we want 5th Fibonacci number or 10th Fibonacci number. What is our expected number? If n equal to 1, we know if first Fibonacci number is always I is going to be 0. Okay. And then if n is 1, we don't want to proceed further. I'm giving exit 0. What is exit 0? Come out of a program. Break is to come out of a loop, and continues to continue the loop, and then exit is to come out of a program. And if n equal to 2, that means if n equal to 2, how many numbers we want to print? We want to print 0 and 1. Yes, if n equal to 2, we are printing. So 0 and 1, I is 0 and 1, and again we are giving exit 0. These two are terminating condition. If both the conditions are false, that means n is maybe 5, n may be 10, n may be 4. Yes, we want to print the sequence. So for that, Fibonacci numbers are, suppose my n is 5, that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, till here I want to print. So first two numbers I'll print as it is, 0, 1 I am printing. So the first two numbers are over. Now I want to start from the third number. So 3 till n. So for that third number, how we are computing? The third number will be computed k equal to I plus j, and printf k. I am printing k value. Now before repeating next iteration, the value of I is going to be j, and value of j is going to be k, and then repeat the for loop. The for loop is repeated. So now, so first time you have printed 0 and 1. Now k value is 1 you have printed. Now before going to next iteration, I is going to occupy jth position, j is going to occupy kth position. Again we are going to repeat the process, and then 1 plus 1 is going to be print. See, we are going to print 2. Like this process is repeated again and again. What is important is your objective is to print n Fibonacci number. So n Fibonacci number, we know very well, we know that first Fibonacci number is 0, the second Fibonacci number is 1, the subsequent Fibonacci numbers we are going to generate by referring the previous two. This is a beautiful program where we are optimally utilizing the for loop. Yes. Now in summary, in summary, what we want to conclude. The looping is one of the key concepts in any programming language. It executes a block of statements number of times until the condition becomes false. There are two types of loops. One is going to be entry controlled or pre-test loops. The entry controlled means the while loop as well as for loop, and exit controlled, that is post-test case, that is going to be do while. Most of the times we use either for loop or while loop. Still, most of the software designer, they love to use the while loop, because the while loop you can use it for any program. If you have taken a decision, I don't want to use for loop, I don't want to use do while loop, yes, but while loop is must. Okay, and with this we'll come to a conclusion. Start using the loops all your programs. Thank you and happy coding. Good luck.